Hi everybody. I wanted to, well, I guess I'll start by apologizing for this screwball screen here, but I wanted to remind you about what the scores along the right mean as far as your grades go. And in many respects, they don't mean much of anything. What they do mean is that if you look at the percentages, that percentage of work has been submitted and earned a complete. So as I hope you remember, but I'm reminding you now because many of you probably don't, you received a complete or incomplete on each assignment, and all that is a participation score, nothing more, nothing less. That doesn't mean, so if we look at the top score there, that's not like the top person alphabetically in our class or anything. This is somewhere in the middle. I don't know who the heck it is, quite frankly. We see a 75% score there. Typically speaking, a score of 75% would be a C range, maybe a C plus kind of thing. I forget on the scale I use. Right below that, we see a 90.48 and 100%. Those would be kind of A ranges if these were for anything other than participation. So your grade is not is influenced by this, but these percentage scores are not, NOT, capital, underlined, everything else, your individual grades. So I wanted to make that clear at the outset, just as a review of things, and this is to set you up for writing about your better than a B paper. So I wanted to go over that first, and so I'm going to switch out of this screen. Actually, I want to be to this one, and I'm going to move it over so we can see things and close out the grade book. So looking at the grades there, that's how the grading works in this regard. So that score is merely your participation score and nothing more. To remind you again, on the syllabus, you can click where I did, where it says syllabus, and we scroll down to the grading contract. This was introduced to you early on, but it's normal for you to forget all about it. So fundamentally, if you did, it says here 80% of the class work, so you had an 80% score there, and you passed the portfolio process, and you did all 3 drafts, and you responded to the drafts that were submitted. Of course, you would either get a complete or incomplete on that. Then you are eligible for B. So pretty much everybody who's passed the portfolio at this point is eligible, has earned a B. And I'm going to go over how to earn better than a B. You've got to basically do the B stuff and then have completed 90% of your process, and then you're going to write the argument for better than a B, and we'll go over that. Some of you, I don't know for sure, I haven't gone through to check, may have passed the portfolio process but done only 60%, between 60 and 80% of the B expectations. If you got a 78 or a 79, I will probably bump you up to the B area. I'm not going to be that rigid with that sort of thing. You know, I'll cut you slack where I can. So do that. So anyhow, I'll do what I can for you. I don't want to, beat up on people for having a 79% and, whatever. And maybe that will be true at the 59% range. It will just, you leave me the option at that point of deciding on an individual basis. Earn a C, or earn less than a C, excuse me. Basically, you do not do the portfolio. There's a C minus, a D, a 1.7, 1.0, and a 0.0 option. I don't know if anybody will be watching this video if they're in the 0 options, but it's again based on participation and whether or not you pass the portfolio. So you can read that again and see what you think of it. So just a reminder of the grades earned so far are just participation points and the process, participation, activities and points and what they mean. So let's go to this week's module and the better than a B argument, which is what this is fundamentally about. And I need to make this a little bit bigger so you can read it. So the college, or not the college, the department uses a set of criteria known as Garrison. I forget the person's full name. He is a writing scholar who developed criteria for grading papers. And if I was to have given each of your papers an individual grade, I would have used criteria much like this. I actually use another person, a different scholar, but it's all pretty much the same sort of thing. And so in this argument, you can see some of the material is crossed out, which means you don't need to address it. And so I want to go through each of these things. So really, if we look at the first one, so it says that, well, I'll just start at the top. Those who fulfilled the B contract may write and submit an argument based on the following departmental description of an A paper to gain consideration for a paper above a B. You might get a B. You might stay the same depending upon how you do. You might get a B plus. You might get an A minus. You might get an A. You might get, I have a grade. I split the difference between a B plus and an A minus. So those could be, your grade will not go down. Excuse me. So you're guaranteed that B, even if you do the most horrific, embarrassing job on this argument. I'm not going to punish you for taking a shot at things, but your grade won't go up. So you can get a B 3.0, a B plus, a 3.3. I split the difference, like I said, between an A minus and a B plus, and that is a 3.5. And then an A minus is a 3.7, and then a out and out A is a 4.0. So those are the options, and I will just read your paper and decide where it goes. So really, if you fulfilled our assignment, all of your essays will immediately convey the person behind the words, your voice speaking clearly from the page. I mean, all of the assignments focused on developing your theory of writing to some degree and your understanding of the rhetorical situation. And to demonstrate that understanding, I asked you each and every time to provide examples from your experience, and those examples are your voice. And so, you're going to want to demonstrate how you come through in your papers, and as opposed to relying on a collage or pastiche of source material. So that's one. So you definitely need to make clear how you do that in your writing. You can't simply state, I convey myself by this. You then need to illustrate that with examples from the writing you've done in this class. As a reader, I need to feel the assurance and have no doubt about what it is you're being communicated. So really, you're going to have a clear focus, a clear claim, clear relationships between the evidence and that claim, and a clear reason as to why it all matters. So really that boils down to an essay formatting, introduction, body, conclusion, and a clear claim in the introduction, evidence in the body that illustrates and explains each element of that thesis, and a broader sense of why it all matters in the conclusion. This has to happen in the essay you write, in this argument, as well as being illustrated by the work you've done already. So you want to, it's a very kind of what we'd call a very metacognitive kind of exercise. So you're going to offer, you're going to demonstrate why you have written on with a focus that's original and engaging. With these assignments, I think you can't help but be original. Engaging is another story, and engaging will pretty much depend upon the next point, so I'm just going to jump right to it, that you're going to be packed with information and pertinent detail. I won't, well, examples are carefully chosen, have a just right feel to them. Don't worry so much about the vivid language, deft comparisons, and colorful images creating a pleasing style. That's a little maybe much too subjective. I honestly wouldn't know how to describe vivid language or deft comparisons until I see it on the page. But information and pertinent details and precisely chosen examples, those we can make a pretty clear cut and explainable indication about whether they are or are not. So you want again to discuss this. You want to organize the material smoothly, logically. I should not hesitate or stumble. And again, you're going to give me examples not only in this essay as you write it, so the material smoothly and logically might you follow this organizational pattern of these bullet points. There's a logic to that, whether you like it or not. I shouldn't hesitate over the sequence of facts or ideas. I shouldn't wonder why one thing came before the other. You want to make that as clear as you can in this essay and in the examples provided from other essays. So you're going to want to bring in how you organized, for instance, in your third essay, the elements of the rhetorical situation, or why did you choose perhaps to rearrange, as some of you did, the manner in which Swales organized his 6 points regarding a discourse community. If there's a good reason for it, that's all we need. So, but you want to make it clear, you want to show that it is clear and that you're not just kind of blowing smoke. And you want to show how your punctuation is appropriate, helpful to the reader. Again, next to no mechanical errors. I'm not counting errors, but this might be the least concerning point to hit unless you are not a native speaker of English, where something like this becomes much more challenging, much more daunting. So anyhow, so these are the points you want to hit on. I think I will draw the others are in there, but I think, they're not things we emphasize. They're not things I necessarily care all that much about for an English 101 class. I think these are, some of these are not particularly realistic, whereas the ones I've left, I believe, are realistic and important. So I want you to write on those, and I want you to use examples from your work to illustrate these points. There is as it says, the very last, this is a one-shot deal. I do not read your drafts. You submit it, I read it, I make a determination, and I don't give you much of an explanation as to why I decided what I decided. Mostly because there isn't a whole lot of time, and the quarter's coming to a close, and I just have a lot of work to do, so I kind of have to bang through this pretty quickly. I will, when I read these, I read them in a way that I am looking to give you the best grade possible. I start and just look at these things and think about, what we've done over the course of the class and, how have you done things. And so something that is essential is that you have a clear use of essay format. Something that is essential is that you have effectively developed paragraphs that start with a clear indication of the point to be made, a clear indication as to why the point matters, a clear indication of evidence and examples from your experience, and some explanation tying it back to how this demonstrates that you deserve better than a B. So it's the standard 4-part paragraphing. You can go through the earlier modules and review that, but you know, we're going back to Aristotle. Tell us what it's about at the paragraph level. Tell us why it matters in that paragraph. Give us some evidence so we can hang our hat on it and see why we should believe you. And then tie it back to the thesis. Why does it matter in the big picture? So if you have general questions, maybe even specific questions, feel free to ask them. I may not answer some questions depending upon how they're asked or phrased, or I may answer them in a way that's not quite so direct to things as you like. It depends how I feel about the question and how it fits with the assignment. Really here you're demonstrating what you can do pretty much on your own in constructing this kind of an argument. So anyhow, that is that. This went on longer than I anticipated. So we've gone over the percentages and what they mean. Participation percentage only. We have looked at the grading contract, and this is how to move beyond the B aspect of the grading contract. And so I'm open to general questions. If they're too particular and specific, I'll be evasive. But that's how I've decided to treat this assignment. So let me know what kind of questions you have in that regard. I'll help however I can. As you can see, the due date is December 8th at 11:59 a.m., so noon. You want to get it in by then. And so get started right away. And now a couple of people I have received late portfolio submissions. You know, you can start working on this if you feel comfortable, or you don't have to. Also, I should probably have made it clearer that this is entirely optional. If you are happy with a B, you're done. If you want to shoot for better, then do what you can. But don't treat this as a slapdash, bang it out kind of thing, you know, because it will make a difference. So I'll be looking for good work. So, like I said, questions, give a holler, and I'll help in whatever way seems reasonable for me to do so. Bye-bye.